you pass by that billabong. Who'll come waltzing Matilda with me? Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. You'll come waltzing Matilda with me, and his ghost may be heard as you pass by that billabong. You'll come waltzing Matilda with me.
How good is that? On stage with John, his best mates Lisa Edwards, Vanetta Field and Lindsay Fields, and his new album Then Again has gone #1 right around Australia. But you wouldn't expect any less. Ladies and gentlemen, for the running of the 1993 Melbourne Cup, upstairs to Danny Malecki.
Tim, thanks very much. They're moving in well, Elliot, for you to move up for the 1993 Foster's Melbourne Cup. Gary Willits, a word from you?
Well, look, I was really impressed with the look of Drum Taps. First time I've seen him. Vintage Crop, the other one. It's great welcome to all these horses from the United Kingdom. It's great if they run well.
Adds a great presence. Drum Taps and Vintage Crop. We respect their ability. They're all set to go in the Cup. All ready. Foster's Melbourne Cup. Light is on. Racing in the Cup. Sub-Zero, one of the first ones out of the gates was Silk Ali, who crosses over to the fence in front of his arm first, and Vintage Crop. Then came Field Officer. Wider out was Drum Taps. He's racing handy to the lead, as is Marrakesh. He goes around them out wider, followed by Frontier Boy. Next, Tiaco Nick, and out Pompey's 4 wide with the Phantom, and they were followed by Fra. Getting back was Cavalieri from Dancing Lord, Air Seattle. Out Tristolites midfield with Slight Chance, and Castletown goes back to the rear of the field now with Azam Mercator, and the mare Diamond Bases last of all. Down the straight the first time, and going to the lead is Fra. Fra by a length and a half to the stablemate Marrakesh, and now Tiaco Nick goes up to be second. The Phantom was fourth, and out Tristolite the Grey was 3 wide. Then Drum Taps on the outside of Vintage Crop, and out Pompey 3 deep. They were followed by Slight Chance. A half a length further back then to Young Pirate. Then Silk Ali on the rails. Frontier Boy slipping around them at 4 wide now, and then came Field Officer. Over on the inside, Tennessee Jack, and then came Cavalieri out of the straight. Ultimate Aim 3 off the rail, tracked up by Air Seattle. Then Great Vintage and Dancing Lord, 1 length away Castletown. Then came Azam Mercator, and Diamond Bases was last of all as they head to the back of the track. They have 2,000 metres left to travel along the Maribyrnong side of the track. And Tiaco Nick in front, 3/4 of a length. Frontier Boy was second, 1.5 to Fra. The Phantom fourth on the outside, then Marrakesh the rails. A half to Drum Taps, getting 1 off the rails. 3 wide was out Tristolite. Then Silk Ali racing inside Vintage Crop. Out Pompey was 3 deep. Then Young Pirate on the outside of Tennessee Jack. Out wider was Slight Chance, and then Field Officer. Last year's winner Sub-Zero, a bit worse than midfield on the inside. Ultimate Aim was 3 deep, and then Great Vintage the centre. Dancing Lord the inside. Cavalieri hooked out almost 4 wide. Then came Azam. On its inside, Mercator, a half to Air Seattle, Castletown, and 2 lengths away last of all Diamond Bases, and she is 15 lengths off the leader, Tiaco Nick. 1,300 metres to go on the Foster's Melbourne Cup. Tiaco Nick by 1 length to Frontier Boy. 3 lengths away third was the Phantom on the outside of Fra. They were followed by Drum Taps, edging closer on the outside of Marrakesh. Vintage Crop behind them, and they were followed down on the inside by Silk Ali. Out Tristolite was deep. Tennessee Jack sneaking up on the inside as they approach the bend. Young Pirate wide, followed by Sub-Zero, 1 off the rail, Dancing Lord the inside. Field Officer was deep, and then Great Vintage. Ultimate Aim, Mercator well back in the field, Cavalieri. Then came Azam. Further back as they come to the turn here, Seattle hard-ridden third last. Castletown second last, and Diamond Bases last. Up to the turn, Tiaco Nick and Frontier Boy together. 3 in front of the Phantom running on. Then Drum Taps over on the inside, Marrakesh and Fra both making up good ground. In the straight, it's Tiaco Nick by a length. Frontier Boy second, Marrakesh to third, 3 lengths away Fra. Then the Phantom Vintage Crop is running on, and then Drum Taps Down to the 300, Tiago Nick a length in front of Frontier Boy. 3 away, Vintage Crop starting to storm home from Tennessee Jack. Tiago Nick in front. Vintage Crop is storming home on the outside. Vintage Crop on the outside grabs Tiago Nick, then Mercator, and the Cup is going back to England. And Vintage Crop has won the Melbourne Cup by 3 lengths to Tiago Nick and Mercator. Then Great Vintage rushing home for 4th. Close up in the field was Tennessee Jack, Frontier Boy. Then Drum Taps Every Chance, Marrakesh. Fran next time Azam. Sub-Zero Cavalieri. Well back in the field, the Phantom, Young Pirate, Air Seattle. Castletown, Dancing Lord. Then Silk Ali, Slight Chance. Ultimate Aim and Diamond Bases has finished at the tail without Twist to Light. Vintage Crop has won the Melbourne Cup for Michael Kinane. We heard all about you, and he did not let us down.
Well, he just outstayed them, Danny. He was just far too good. The Phantom had every chance. Drum Taps had a beautiful run. This horse just seemed to relish the going, and he just worked right away. He was brought along at the right time by Michael Kinane. There he is. They look beautiful, both these horses in the mounting yard. And Vintage Crop, what a great win.
6, 5 and 10. Vintage Crop will pay $16.80 and $5.50. Tiago Nick, $14.90. What a gallant run. And Mercator, $30.70. And the trifecta will be a mammoth dividend. 4th placing goes to number 23, Great Vintage. And 5th was number 16, Frontier Boy. A valiant effort to finish up in that position. Michael Kinane, the winning rider. He is trained over in Ireland, let's see, and what a performance. Just a great staying effort and a terrific ride.
Right, here's the winning jockey of the Melbourne Cup 93. Mike, your first ride at Flemington.
Yeah, it's hard to beat this one.
There's about 80 or 90,000 people here today, Mike, and you came over here and the good judges said you could win, the good judges said you couldn't win. But you had a good run all the way?
Yeah, nice run. I was following Frankie on Drum Taps, and Frankie suddenly dropped away before the home, and once I got the racing room, I was happy, you know. I was always going to win then.
Yeah, Mike, it's opened up the Melbourne Cup to the world now, isn't it? International race.
Ah, well, the country's becoming a small place. I think it's the right way. It makes everything.
I think it is, and also that we've a $2 million race. Is this your biggest one?
I think it's close to it, yes. It is, because it's today.
Well, mate, this is going to be one of the most memorable times you'll ever have in any country you've ridden in. So you better go in there, enjoy it, and good luck, mate. And it's nice to see the Cup go overseas, and so hopefully next year we've got a lot more of you guys over here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
John Letts with Mike Kinane, and what a training performance. Dermot Weld, they said he couldn't do it, Pete, but he did.
And to my staff.
Yes, well, Dermot Weld has just joined us now. He's been besieged by the media as we go live around the world, Dermot, and back to Ireland. What would you like to say to the folks back home?
Oh, it was a great day for Ireland, and I just want to thank everybody for their help and everybody here in Australia who's made me very welcome.
How confident were you going into the race?
I was quietly confident. When the 2 inches of rain came last night, I was concerned. The horse did lose 7 kilos travelling out here, which is considerable, but he put it back on, and on Sunday morning when he worked, I was very pleased with him.
Did you take any heart to the criticism that was given about the preparation and the fact that it wasn't the Australian way?
That doesn't worry me at all. I've trained winners all over the world, so I'm used to criticism, but I do it my way, and I'm quite happy.
Throughout the race, were you happy?
I was a little bit concerned over the far side. He got once or twice stopped, but overall I was happy.
Well, Drum Taps too, the other horse, ran a bold race as well. It truly is an international race now.
I've always believed it to be, and I've always wanted to come here and do it since I landed in Australia many years ago.
Do you think this will enhance the reputation of the Melbourne Cup overseas?
The Melbourne Cup will develop to be the international 2-mile race of the world.
And finally, Irish Eyes will be smiling tonight.
I hope so.
Dermot Weld, congratulations.
Thank you.
Dermot Weld, the trainer. And Vintage Crop is about to come back into the mounting yard after the running of the Foster's Melbourne Cup. Well, as I said, it really is truly an international race now. And great scenes of joy down here in the mounting yard as this wonderful galloper, the winner of the Irish St Leger, now caps off months and months of preparation. It's cost the connections of both Vintage Crop and Drum Taps a lot of money to get here, but every single cent they have spent over the past 6 months is now worth it as Vintage Crop comes back to scale after winning the Foster's Melbourne Cup. What a great moment, and Dermot Weld certainly a very happy man at the moment. Vintage Crop returning to scale, and there is the great scene Let's go to Dan, and we can take a look at the replay, just how Vintage Crop did it.
Well, what a horse this is, Gary. Well, it's 15 starts. 5 have been over hurdles. He's won 4 races over hurdles in England and Ireland. 4 lengths off the pace, but he looked the one even this far out.
Look at this lengthening stride here. Te Akau Nick's done a gallant race on the rails there. Frontier Boy, but look at Vintage Crop really stretch out. And the one getting home down the outside is Great Vintage. She was disadvantaged by the track, but gee, what a horse, and he did it well, so he did it his way. And it was a great training performance. They haven't run for 49 days. I think it's just incredible.
And an easy win. It was, what, 3 lengths at the finish?
Yeah, he just came in. You know, they all had their good chance. I don't think there were any hard luck stories out of the race. They all had lovely runs. Here's this great scene as they walk back into this mounting yard.
Well, Peter Donegan, one thing is certain, and that is, I think, the best stayer in that race won it and proved it certainly over the last 100 metres. The stamina this animal has got is amazing, and that's his 4th Group 1 win from 16 starts, and obviously his biggest.
No question that he is a marvellous horse, and this is the most prized place in Australian racing. And there's the flag held proudly by Michael Kinane. Earlier this year, he won the English Derby on Commander-in-Chief. Today, he wins the Foster's Melbourne Cup with Vintage Crop. We'll be back for the presentation and all of the glory after the great race in just a moment.
Look at this magnificent, big striding horse all the way from Ireland. Look at that. There's not too many better sights in the world of sport. Vintage Crop, the 1993 winner of the Foster's Melbourne Cup. The formalities have to be completed, though. That means Mr. Lawler checks all the jocks' weight. And there's the familiar sight in Australia, as I'm sure anywhere else in the world. If you're a racing fan, correct weight will be notified any moment.
Correct weight.
Okay, on the 1993 Cup, let's pay you the money right around the country.
$16.80 and $5.50 for Vintage Crop. Te Akau Nick, $14.90. Mercator, $30.70. The Quinella, $680. Now, the race-to-race double has paid $76.60. The extra double, $809.90. The trifecta unavailable, but I assure you it will be one mammoth dividend. 6, 5 and 10, and correct weight on the Foster's Melbourne Cup of 1993.
The unfortunate thing about the trifecta being a mammoth dividend is I don't have it. Very unfortunate. I tell you what, it absolutely teemed with rain almost the second the Cup was finished. But gee, that was a great performance. Vintage Crop, the Irish stayer, and built like one too. Big, long, striding horse. I tell you what, though, Peter Donegan, at one stage, Gay Waterhouse must have had her heart in her mouth. What an honest run from Te Akau Nick, too.
Gee, I thought he nearly had the money at about the 400-metre mark, Tim, when he dashed clear. And another one of the outsiders in Frontier Boy was chasing him. And all of a sudden, this flash of yellow just came out of the left-hand side of my binoculars. And I knew it was Vintage Crop.
Yeah.
What a horse. You know, that's a terrific staying performance. We all had doubts, I think, everyone, and rightly so, because we're used to one way of preparing horses. And there's no way that you would ever go into a race like the Melbourne Cup with the preparation that he had from our point of view. But the Irish way today has proven the right way. But congratulations to Gay. They don't often remember who ran second in Melbourne Cups, and I'm sure they probably won't in 12 months' time, but I think Gay will.
I tell you what, though, at one stage of the afternoon, I think I said they don't come all this way, all these thousands of miles for nothing. One problem, though, Pete, I backed the wrong import. I backed the other fella.
Never mind. He looked as though he was travelling okay in the run, Drum Taps, but he wasn't able to sprint. And watching the race with Roy Higgins, we said the leaders got a big break, and it looked as though nothing would catch them. But all of a sudden, this wonderful horse has come down the outside, and it hasn't been a bad year for jockey Michael Kinane. He's won the Epsom Derby, the English Derby, and now he's won